All right, guys, we are into the semifinals between Mixx and GateKeepers. It will be starting here in just a moment, as the teams have let me know that the draft is done, and they should be joining into the lobby here in a moment, or making the joining the lobby because we already have one conveniently made. The map pool will be Hollywood, then Dorado, then Numbani, and then we'll be getting right into the action as soon as the teams join up. I'll be once again joined by Scribe. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Just ready to get this action underway. It's been a decently long break, and although it is nice to recompose ourselves, definitely a situation where I just want to, get the casting in, get the games done all together. It's kind of good to get that hype, continually rolling between the matches. So hopefully the finals will start right after this as well, so we can just get the best of 3 into the best of 5 and see who ends up winning this. I mean, this is an important one. If you lose this, no money. If you lose finals, no money, but you get into the money match if you win this.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's, obviously that's something I think not. That's not. I don't think the most important thing in all the players' minds, but it's definitely something that might as well get something out of it, right? You just committed like realistically 4 or 5 hours to do this, and you might as well get something at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, and at the very least, you want to get better points. And these teams sitting in the semifinals, I believe fourth place gets 50 or like 45 points. So, of course, they will need to play the third place decider to get that point distribution better off. But the winner gets 100 points, which guarantees you basically playing into the monthly finals. And the second place gets 75, and that is a very, very, very hefty amount of points, considering 100 is guaranteed to get you into the monthly.
Yeah, and of course that's very good. Looking forward to the end of August monthly tournament. So that should be. Well, we should basically figure out a lot of the teams that will be there, and of course, a lot of the teams that will be participating there are teams that we cover during each and every week of our Overwatch Go for Overwatch ESL Cups.
I'm just letting both in chat and now that the players are joining the lobby, guys. So we should be getting into this match any moment now. And yeah, no, I have to agree with you. It's 5, 6 hours, 7 hours. It kind of sucks when you get nothing done with it. But those points, the long term. It's just about building that repertoire, and the more you can consistently play in them, and the better you can do, the better positions you put your team in to be in more events later on. Rankings matter a lot for invites, of course, but simultaneously, it's kind of a fear factor almost. I feel too, right? Especially for the tier 2 teams, there is that this team's this far ahead of us on the rankings. Sometimes that can get in their heads. So consistently winning these events, I mean, it also shows, or at least consistently getting this far, it also shows definitely strong fortitude as a team.
Yeah, I think that's something that you have to. I think it's good for a lot of tier 1s to play these events as well, because it does give them a little more like opportunities to try some new things. But for tier 2 teams as well, winning a lot of these events, and consistently placing high indicates hey, you're not just another tier 2 team. You're like a slightly above them. You're maybe tier 1.5 or something like that. So going forward with that, I think it's super cool. It's something that I think is really positive to go about, is that doing well at these small tournaments and dominating your scene means that you might start getting more scrims if other teams are starting to look into what you're doing and see what you're doing well. And also it offers a lot of practice, so you can show off your full abilities when you guys play some of the tier 1 teams.
I definitely think you're right about the tier 1. Now, sometimes it can be a little risky for some of the T1 teams to dip down and play these events if they end up losing or something like that. But yeah, it is. It's important to make sure that you are on top of your scene, because it comes to a regional thing. The bigger and bigger this gets, it is, whether or not you represent the America region well or the European region well, and CIS region, as the regions become more diverse, have more teams, they'll, of course, they'll what is the word for it? Fractalize down, I guess, as people will associate with smaller and smaller portions of each region. But the point is that it's definitely a situation where you need to be on top of your scene to guarantee those invites. Like, if a tier 2 team is winning all of those smaller events, and then they come into a bigger event and they beat you, it looks awkward, right? But if you had beaten them in 1 or 2 of the smaller cups before they had that upset in the bigger cup, there's a little bit of a different argument to be made, at least a different way to look at it. And to answer your question, Centurion, I'm not exactly sure what Go4 is supposed to stand for. I don't think it specifically stands for anything, but at the same time, it's just the general series that ESL has run for many events, and I do need to go ahead and take care of swapping up the teams. But yeah, and to answer your question more specifically, Pizza Dudes, to sign up for the Go4, you just need to go to play.eslgaming.com and then navigate over into the European section for Overwatch, and then you can sign up for Go4, or you can sign up for NA that way. And then also, you guys can get to that information by typing in !! standings. That'll bring you guys to the current monthly standings for the Go4 of that month, which is right now August. We just started September, so I'm not going to bring up the new standings until we've gotten done with the monthly finals, but you guys can navigate to the Go4 page from there. And I will go ahead and get these players all changed out, as I need to make sure I get this right. This is the fun part, making sure that you know the teams. And it looks like it is just going to be... Yeah, it is just the Mixx missing one player right now, and then once we have that one player, we are good to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see this game. And so what are the map choices for this specific series?
It was Hollywood, then... or, sorry, it wasn't Hollywood first. It was Kings Row, Hollywood, then we're going to be going to Numbani last.
Oh.
So if this goes a full 3, yeah, we're going to have something a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for that. That's actually, I'm definitely looking forward to see that. All escort match is a little different from the typical someone playing COD maps, someone feeling more of the King of the Hill maps, or like the 2CP maps. Besides that, but I think that escort maps are, I think, what makes Overwatch relatively cool. I think that COD maps are a better demonstration of who is, quote unquote, the better team, or the better, more coordinated team at least, or who's having a good day. But I feel like escort maps are at the core, I think, what makes you a good Overwatch team versus another team.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, unfortunately, it just comes down to, small details. The better and better you get, but I can't really think of a good competitive game that isn't that way. I mean, at the end of the day, the better and better you get at games, the less and less mistakes you're making, the more and more those mistakes matter. And I kind of want to, an interesting question to pose to you. Back when I played Dota competitively, and even now it's kind of talked about in that way, but it's talked about the team that ends up winning is usually the team that makes the least mistakes. Not to say that one team, obviously one team is playing better than the other. You can look at it in that framing, but when you're looking at it from the competitive perspective, the teams that make the most mistakes are going to lose more often, because the teams that make less mistakes are not going to be in those positions. Do you think Overwatch is a game where it is decided by the mistakes right now, where it really is, whether or not it's a lack of execution or that kind of situation, or whether or not it's the other side of the equation where it comes down to making plays rather than the mistakes having a bigger impact?
I honestly think, this is my personal opinion, but I definitely can see both sides of the potential argument. But I honestly think it's about making the plays more than the mistakes you make. Because, for example, mistakes, sure, I mean, realistically, if you're an offense, you can't get the kills, and like you could quote unquote call those mistakes, where like you miss a headshot, or like you don't optimize your damage, and the enemy team gets away and they live scot-free, right? But the fact is that because the prerogative is on your offense to be aggressive, and it's on aggressive behaviors to dive into backlines, that's kind of where the meta currently is, and your desire to push through a lot of stuff. It's all about kind of making the plays in that instance, and that's why slow defenses that stall out have some sort of advantage in that aspect, is because they basically force you, the offense, to execute, to do extremely well. Otherwise, the offense starts making mistakes and start pushing back. So at the end of the day, I honestly think it's all about making the plays, putting your team out there. And I mean, you can call them mistakes if they don't work, but if you're not making plays to begin with, I feel you're not going to advance as far as you think.
Very well put, and we'll see if the teams are going to be ready to go. And it looks like we are going to have a few of the players booting up ESL anti-cheat. A few of them, unfortunately, forgot to do it, small as they do need to redo it every single match with the way the system works, because the banning is done. That's why we don't have an OW draft or anything like that for you guys. All the banning is done within the ESL anti-cheat client, that only the players and the admins have access to the match details. So we are unfortunately not able to get that, but I did misspeak. I apologize, Scribe. It is going to be Hollywood Dorado, Numbani. So we do get to see a little bit of two maps that, I'd say we've seen maybe more Kings Row today. We've seen 2 Kings Row, a Lijiang, a Hollywood, or 1-1-1, something like that. It's been pretty distributed evenly among the more popular maps, quote unquote. So I am excited to get to go to see some more what do you call it? Numbani, if we get to go there. Obviously, best of 3 going to the third match is always going to be more exciting. Yeah, and it's true. If the players were ready, we would have already gotten ready to go. Is all the casters are ready to go? We have all the language here. If you guys are looking for other languages, there is of course German as well on Twitch TV /CIROUSS. I'll go ahead and just link that, and then as well as Twitch TV Outbreak for a Russian cast. So that way you guys have multiple languages to listen to for these events.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's super cool to get a lot of different languages, and it's something that EU does. That's it's like super cool, getting more exposure to everyone. I feel like North America should be hopefully trying to do that. Maybe more like a Spanish cast, a Portuguese cast for our Brazilian friends, or even French for all of our French Canadian friends up in Canada and Montreal and Quebec.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too how they're going to deal with this, because this is one of those subjects, because we are unfortunately just waiting on the teams right now, so it is going to be a little bit before we can get going. But they only have 60 lobby spots, and that means unfortunately sometimes using a clean feed to cast from. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of casting from a clean feed. I definitely prefer to cast from my own perspective. I think it's just easier to digest and see the game that way. But I definitely feel like they're going to need to add a system. I mean, you could go in the Dota TV direction where you have a group, like every spectator slot has multiple spectator slots where you can have an observer, you can have a stat guy, you can have a secondary spectator, you can have that the support staff of each language, and that kind of lets you have multiple spots for multiple languages, or just more spectator slots in general would be nice for that. But it'll be interesting to see how they go ahead and navigate through the Overwatch Cup with the limited spectator slots that are currently available.
Yeah, I mean, especially because if you have, I think we're one of the only casts that actually does 2 people, 2 casters. So obviously, if everyone's doing 2 casters, we're going to run out of space relatively quickly. I think we only can realistically fit 3 full casts if we do it that way. But I mean, I think there's a lot of direction that can be taken. I think it's just a matter of people, I guess, not really thinking about the language repercussions of this. I don't know. It's because it's not a problem that a lot of people actually think about, and I don't think it's something that Blizzard inherently thought about more. Where it's like, man, if we host an international event, we're gonna have all these in different language casters and stuff like that. But I mean, also that'll be eventually covered. I think it's cool to get more exposure, especially with something like the Overwatch World Cup coming up, where I hope at least there's coverage in your own language, and that'd be pretty cool to have that available.
Yeah, no, and they are showing some what do you call it? They really do want to change the spectator client. They did do the small updates. It looks like we are having readies up from the teams. As once they are readied up, we will get going, guys. We are waiting on the teams. We cannot start until the teams are ready. I cannot just start the game when the teams are not ready. That is not how tournaments work. We will have to make sure that the players are completely ready to go. But it looks like once this last player is joined up, I have a ready up from... Okay, yeah, ready up from both sides, and then casters. Let me make sure they're good. And once all of the casters are good to go, as far as Russian and German, and I got one. Okay. Well, guys, we'll be getting right into it. I have confirmation. Yeah, always ready. That's how I am too. Once you're in the lobby, once you're getting ready to cast, you're just ready to cast, and that's all you want to do is think about casting. But we have Mixx versus the side of the Gatekeepers going on right now, guys. That's happening for you. This is the semifinals of the ESL Go4 EU Overwatch Cup number 14. We want to say thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching. And we're going to have a pretty exciting match here between these two teams, because honestly, both of these teams have in the past and in present shown a lot of potential. Gatekeepers, as of late, not had the most success compared to their rise to fame about a month ago, but simultaneously, their lack of performances, if you want to phrase it that way, has been basically consistently getting top 8 in these smaller events, which is still something to be noted, which solidifies them as a Tier 2 European team. The question is, can they prove themselves here today? We'll go ahead and get with the introductions. I'll start with the opposite side, as it is going to be the defense that is more decided here. It's going to be Mixx. It's going to be Mesomorphous picking up his Reinhardt, no supplies. Clatton on a McCree. Cabal on a Zenyatta. Ubi on his Genji. We have Mete picking up the Zarya, and last but not least is going to be Kratos Digga, going to be picking up that Lucio.
I was sad. We have Mithril on the Mercy, Lolly on on the Reaper, Aki on the Winston, Denia on the Lucio, Shozi on the Zarya, and half is cool on the Genji.
So, looks like a pretty standard Heart gauge. This is actually pretty funny because the Mercy's just doing in the center. I do like it when teams do this kind of stuff. If you guys weren't watching the Overwatch Open, there was a pretty awesome thing with Colorado Clutch where they all stood on those chairs I just showed and all did a pose with their emotes. Very, very cool. Cool stuff to be happening. But nonetheless, guys, we're into this game. And the engage from the offense could be very, very aggressive. And it kind of needs to be. The defense really doesn't have the best disengage as far as it goes, but that's going to already be underway as we have the action going in. Shozi's going to get the first kill as we already have a lot of damage coming out from the Reaper Lolly. But the Clatton, he's going to be the one getting more of the kills as this damage ends up getting 2, taking out both Ake and missed the other kill, unfortunately. But 2 major ones as Mete's going to continue to push forward and take out Mythor. And right now, the offense, I mean, they had a good initiation. They had a good start. They got the pick to start, but then that was it. From there, it was all a defensive show. And they are going to continue to dominate this match and move forward.
Yeah, honestly, from the offense right now, it's all about funneling people in, trying to keep damage on the site, trying to keep people on the point before the defense has time to set up again. But big point about that last fight was the ability of the defense to kite down into lower cafe and allow their Clanton and their McCree to get a lot of pot shots off, to get a lot of damage out in the background and take out a lot of the enemy heroes. So that's obviously positive for them. Great communication. And of course, in the backline, Kratos just staying alive, providing a lot of heals to keep everyone top dog.
Graviton Surge is going to go out and hit on multiple here as they're all caught in and dash through from Ubi as he gets the first dash. Will he get the second and third? It doesn't look like, but the kills are happening, and that's all that matters. He still has the Dragon Blade available. Is going to be able to help take out Shozi's there with the help of Clatton getting the double kill. And Aki as well going to go down, and that is all of the offense falling apart. The defense, again, having a very good start here. And you know what? Mixx is on a pretty good line of play right now. Not just in this series, not just in the last one, but overall the entire day.
My ultimate is charged. Attack me.
Yeah, honestly, right now, this is a very good hold from the defense. They have so many tools right now to potentially hold them off. And you know, there's a lot of ultimates right now. It's all about ultimate management, using them and saving the defense, having to save more for the last fight. So they might on the prerogative for the offense to engage and try to take this fight.
And they are going to get the Dragon Blade in. Maybe one kill. Not so far. Not any so far, actually. But Mesomorphist and Mete will go ahead and pick it up. No damage really committed there from Ubi. But a Death Blossom. Oh, Lolly ends up going down. There was even a deflect need. Just got the decapitation from that Genji. Plus his teammates helping out. Mete and Ubi going to clean it all up. And that will be the end of that push.
Honestly, that wasn't terrible ultimate conservation, mainly because they used just enough what they needed. Clanton obviously still has ultimate, which is a huge positive sign, but Mythor having that Mercy ultimate is so good for the next fight. If they, die unfortunately, or have someone dies with ult or a special ability up, they can immediately res and go for the tempo.
And Aki's going to end up getting the kill. Ubi taking him out. Now Shozi in deep trouble, will go down as well. Mete upping in that kill. There's Mythor, going to go for the resurrection. Gets it off, gets 3. But can they get more out of it? That's the big question. Doesn't look like it so far. Maybe Lolly? He gets 1. Denia gets another, so they've gotten a few. If they can chain these together, they could end up taking this point. They have the first tick, not quite secured the second one. But Cabal, Clatton, they're lighting up a few more kills in the defense with this long stagger, the distance of the spawn. There's less opportunity for them to retake this point, but Cabal is going to go ahead and combo up. No, they end up losing Ubi with the Dragon Blade, and that's not a good thing at all, especially when you use the Transcendence to try to get high value out of that. Now Earthshatter comes out from Ake, knocking out multiple. Lolly going to continue to get damage done, and that will be the offense finally taking the point. Did take them 3.5 minutes to do it, but they do get it done.
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty okay. I'm okay with that if you stall out for like X amount of seconds. You had like less than 30 seconds left on that last point, so I'm fine. But they are taking the shorter, elevator route. Hopefully they can catch Lally off out of position, try to get an early pick. But right now they need to establish high ground right now. Get back, reset, try to get your ultimates back, and try to convert on the fact that you have the upper ground ability. And great job of Metamorphosis on the right heart getting up there and making sure to dominate. Immediately falls down though, which is already a kind of awkward position. That Graviton Surge from the other side.
The Deadeye. Clatton held it full charge. 5-second Deadeye triple kill. Resurrection will reset it looks like, so maybe they can get something done with it. They lose Mythor off the back of that. Earthshatter's going to go out, but the defense is already in a better position, I feel, as the Reaper super low. Lolly will end up falling. Ubi, Kratos, and Mete all getting kills after that McCree. And really, That's what you need to do as the defense. First wipe with the Deadeye, second wipe after the Resurrection, like you said, saving ultimates, but they didn't even really need any ultimates besides, well, actually no, they didn't even use any after the Deadeye, after the Graviton Surge, so good play from the defense nonetheless.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm Ubi right now, I save my ultimate around 50 seconds just so I can wipe them at the opportunity where they can't really respawn safely. Or you can go now when basically, you know, everyone is trying to attack your front line and you have a lot more room to do in the back line, but he needs to do so much more damage. So much of his team's falling down. Clanton's able to take out the enemy McCree. Ubi's able to take out Lolly, and Clanton again is able to take out support. So two-man, you know, DPS duo right now doing all the work defense needs. No need for any other players. Everyone else can just take a break.
And unfortunately, they did commit the Dragon Blade. I definitely agree with you. I think they could have waited on it, but nonetheless, they use it. He does get all right value out of it, and they are going to have some other options available. But Clanton also used the Deadeye, and that's kind of what I want to like look at and prompt to you. Offense is going to have a really good opening here, and maybe actually they might just end up taking advantage of it. Half of the cool is in the background here with the Deadeye, and he's actually got a pretty good set of skulls. Not enough though. The deflect is there to stop it, plus not enough damage really. And now he's in a very bad spot. Gonna end up falling in the defense, where I was about to say the offense might have had a moment of ultimate advantage. It definitely was just squandered.
Yeah, honestly, Ubi came out of his last Dragon Blade with 50% left, meaning that he got a lot of dashes off after the ultimate, so it's a huge positive. He has ultimate again, which means that when I said, hey, save it for 30 seconds, he still has it again to use, so he should be waiting very carefully, going for the flank, trying to cut off a lot of the light damage sources. That means killing the Mercy and stopping the res.
Oh, let's see what ends up happening here. Ubi, oh no, this is, I was going to say, he does get the Dragon Blade out, but Lolly could have gotten a lot done here with the flanking Death Blossom. But Ubi flanks the flank, finds the Mercy first, cleans her up, then finds the Reaper, helps his team identify that threat. 4 kills later, there's only 2 left, and now the point is taken, and that is going to be the end of the first push, not making it very far into the streets phase. And again, Mixx is on a tear right now. They are looking very, not only confident, but also very, very well executed and well put together in their strategy.
Oh man, that was so good. From honestly, I gotta say, I do agree with Ubi's kind of like use of that ultimate in the last second, mainly because he sees that his team is losing the fight, and that makes complete sense at that point. Like, if you're going to hold the defense, you can't get yourself in the position where, you know, even with the Genji, even with the, you know, the McCree being up, you can't put yourself in the position where it's like 2v4, 2v5, because no matter what you do, you still might lose. But great ultimate usage, and obviously building up to 50%, and then specifically looking for the Mercy, I think is one of the, I think, more cognizant plays. I think a lot of players will say, oh yeah, obviously to kill the Mercy, but having the common mind to actually think about it and go, okay, where is he? Where do I find him? And just kind of specifically look and stop the res that can potentially change the entire game at the end. Very smart play for him. And obviously great hold. They hold on the second streets phase. And I mean, normally that's actually a segment of the map that's relatively easy to go through. And the fact they were able to have a great stop is kind of impressive.
Definitely agree with that, unless the defense is able to get a full setup, which is what they ended up doing. But one of the question asked in chat by Donaday is asking, how do these teams stack up against the top teams right now? And I'll kind of leave that question to you, because I mean, I know you were much more into the EU scene, helping out Copenhagen Flames a lot, so you have a little bit more of a better interpretation than I do, because I only cast them basically once or twice a week. But you know, how would you compare these teams to Reunited, to you know, teams of that nature, of that caliber?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, all that divides these teams with the other teams is just maybe missing some star power. I think there are a lot of really solid players on every one of these squads, especially some of these tier 2 teams. What I would say is these teams struggle, and they're very obvious in the fact that they don't know how to react as well. They don't have as much of the training against some of the better teams, and sometimes they do rely on, in tier 2, they rely a lot more on their 1v1 skills. So when that doesn't go well, or they're playing a team that's inherently better, they do run into a lot of issues there, and they can't really perform at the level we see them here.
Experience, consistency, definitely agree with that. And also, it's also a factor of we'll get to that in a second. Zubi's actually going to end up taking out Mither as Cabal gets himself a kill as well. 2 for 2 though, and that's pretty good here for the offense, as they can reinforce quicker. Half of School is going to get a 3rd kill, but they need to get more than this, and Ubi's going to get the deflect kill, and the only member left on the point is going to be that Roadhog, and that's going to be it. Roadhog should die in just a moment here. Maybe he might survive for a little bit longer, but it's not like he's going to get too much more done, and he is going to get forced back, dead. and they're going to go ahead and take the point. So yeah, I guess what I kind of wanted to get at is like you say, it is that experience, and it's also that execution. I mean, that coordination. It all comes down to experience in the end. It all feeds back off of it, but it really is not that much of a difference in my opinion. In a few months, you could see these teams playing the top teams in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, everyone's good. It's not like they're bad players. It's not like with the old days where we had a bunch of new teams that just basically never played the game before. But all these players have top 500 experience, and they're very coordinated. They play for a long time, and man, this defense just coming through, pushing them back, and that's fine. Honestly, they have a lot of time to work with. They have 5 minutes to get, essentially halfway through the street space, and they're okay with that. Ubi now has ult, Clanton now has ult, so they have a lot of opportunities to wipe and set them forward. And they don't even have to go all the way to the end, so they actually have the advantage of their spawn actually might be closer.
And defense, I was just about to say that they kind of need to get something going because they don't really have ult advantage like you were pointing out, but that Death Blossom from Lolly just didn't do that much. It was their one option. Clanton going to go for the Hail Mary pulse bomb, but doesn't hit anyone with it, and now 2 kills already though. That doesn't bode well here for the defense. Daniel will go ahead and get up his sound barrier, but what do they really have to fight it? You can see it really only affected 2 players, and now Ubi's going to push forward with the Dragon Blade, and he's just going to start slicing, dicing, and killing them all. Not like there was an entire team to hold off that point, but still 4 kills are going to get it cleaned up here by Ubi, and there's going to be a Graviton Surge that's going to prevent the defense for holding the point. I mean, at the end of the day, those Graviton Surges look a little greedy, but no one able to contest, and that will be a conversion of the point, and that will be Mixx taking the first map as they very convincingly take it over GateKeepers.
Honestly, that's so solid from the offense. They're a great conversion, and it's fine. Like, I think that's what a lot of people don't really take from that is that sure, the defense can hold you, but the offense can't get greedy. They can't be scourged and force themselves in a position where we have to burn an ult or something like that. If Ubi burns an ult on that last engagement, they still lose, trying to make a play, trying to be the hero. I don't entirely think at the end of the day that they win or they push as well through that last point, but because he's able to save his Dragon Blade and use it as an offensive tool to convert, I think that's a huge positive that's moving forward. But man, that play of the game was pretty solid.
It really was. It was important, and honestly, I kind of think that puts home a lot of what's going on with the. Yeah, no, I will look into that in just a second and figure that out. I do have to go ahead and put it back to lobby, as that is my job. I pressed the button, and the button worked. Okay, so our next map is going to be Dorado, if I recall correctly. Make sure that this is good to go. I see it's Dorado, but I need to make sure that it is working for you guys. That code or that thing. All right. So both teams, Dania said ready, Mesmorphous says good. They said they're ready, so we'll go ahead and just get right into it. Mobot. Oh, that would explain a lot. Mobot's offline. Yeah, Mobot's down, guys. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Mobot is just down, so I will have to do it this way. If you can go ahead, I'll get that linked for you guys in just a second, but we'll get the camera in a better spot so you guys can kind of see the defensive setup, but nothing's too surprising so far at anyone showing. I mean, the offense, who knows what they'll end up picking, as they could just troll us for right now, but the defense looking very standard.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options to use here, and I'm just, man, it's so crazy to see all these picks. But man, that Mercy pick is, I don't know, I feel Mercy so mixed feelings. I feel teams have such different expectations of what they want their Mercy to do, because that res is so game breaking, and the fact that you can wipe a team and have to be forced to wipe them again, and especially on a very long point, which is how these offenses kind of apply pressure, is the fact that they are able to kill 2 or 3 members of the defense, knowing that if we sacrifice, if we go 1 for 1, it's actually a positive trade for us, since our walk is a lot shorter than theirs. But on the aspect, the Mercy is able to get res within the first fight and save it for the second fight, and they're able to hold. I think that actually is a huge positive. You can actually burn a lot of offensive ultimates, and then immediately after everyone burns everything, fly in, get a 3-man res, and hopefully you have some ultimates to respond with. But that's kind of the theory there. I'm not a huge fan of Mercy because I feel like she just doesn't provide as much mobility without like a Pharah in the air. But I still think it works, and I feel excited to see how she adapts to her place in the new meta.
I sit in your boat here. I definitely think Mercy without a Pharah can be very suspect to many situations, to many obviously assassin type playstyles with the Tracer and the Genji. She can just have a horrible time when she doesn't have that vertical element to escape to. But we'll see. Myther, just like earlier, Trob, loving that Mercy. It might end up working for them. And to answer the question in the chat, do you guys stream the ESL Overwatch often? We mainly just stream the Go4. We are community casters. We are given permission to go ahead and cast this event for you guys, so we go ahead and we cast it every Sunday for you. Hopefully, at some point, we'll be doing some more ESL events in the future, but for now, this is the only guaranteed cast that we do every week for ESL. Charge going to be going out from Aki as he looks for an aggressive play, but it just doesn't go well at all. And that, you know, that's the problem with those kind of aggressive plays. It can work when you hit the charge and you can get those kills, but it's the defense. You were saying it at the beginning. The run is so long. Your risks and rewards are so different than the side of the offense. And with Myther falling, and the only player left is half as cool, it's going to be a take of the first point. Very, very quick coming out of here by Mixx.
Where was the focus there? I'm pretty sure Clanson basically walked through and headshot like 3-4 targets. Like, you need to focus. You need to figure out, like, well, what is our win conditions here? Play safe, right? Target specific characters. The fact that Clanson is able to walk into your backline and kill 3 people is not a good sign initially. And man, Lally gets pulled a little bit instantly to his death, and that's already a 6v5. And in the backline, look at their flanks from the offense. That's a super deep flank right there.
It really was, and Clatton, he almost hit a double. Oh, they're so close to being headshots. It's not even funny. I feel bad for Clatton right now. He's just like literally hitting the side of the shoulder slash the top of the chest. It's so close to being headshots, but he isn't going to end up landing them. He is going to go for the Dragon Strike, slightly angled to go ahead and help clear that high ground, but it was kind of poorly angled simultaneously and didn't end up being in the right position, so they won't get too much value out of that.
I think the general idea there was just try to contest the high ground, but they have no one on their team who can realistically get to the high ground. So not exactly a huge fan of that move. I do understand his intention. I do applaud that, but man, you could have maybe looked at your team comp and thought, well, there's no way we can contest it anyway. But Cabal does trade with Aki, and you know, the defense currently is managing to hold pretty strong. The offense should be backing up right now, saying like, okay, we have to rethink our strategy. We have a lot of ultimates we can use, but their big issue right now is their lack of aerial dominance. They have no way of contesting the high ground here, which is going to be a super issue. They have to wait for the enemy team to come to them. Maybe they can land a clutch graviton surge that keeps everyone grounded and allows more payload push, but they're moving up to a very dangerous part of the map right underneath this bridge, which gives them opportunity for the defense to jump on them.
Lolly on the high ground. They need to continue to abuse this high ground setup, especially since they're running a soldier, but Clatton's going to take out Shozi. Aki's going to end up falling as well, and half is cool. He does have this the sights available, but there's a graviton surge going out, and unfortunately we're missing it because I was trying to find the soldier to see what he was doing, but it looked like he got pushed off his position and just didn't get much done. Ubi getting himself a double kill, and this guy can play Genji, this guy can play Hog, this guy can play Mei. He showed it all today, and he is definitely showing that diversity is key to be a strong tier 2 team, and they might end up taking this fight and might end up just capping this point at this rate. There's just not that much defensive potential left. As Ubi going to be looking for the kill on the Winston. Doesn't quite find it yet, but will find the hook onto the McCree. That eats him alive. He's probably going to take a breather here and continue to move forward.
Yeah, man. Okay, that's a good opportunity for the defense to start clearing, but the fact is they lose so much ground. This door opens up so slowly, and normally defenses are able to capitalize on the fact that, you know, your offense isn't in a great position to start, but neither their defense right now. They're taking the higher ground level, but the deep offense has already beat them there, and now they're in a weird situation where they're trying to push through to establish the high ground, but they're taking a lot of chip damage on their way.
They really are. They need to be careful about this. Fire Strike's going to go through, do a lot of damage to the defense. They're getting absolutely bullied right now. Bodied is another term that's been used a lot in Overwatch, and that's really how it feels right now. They just haven't been able to get their game plan going. Mesomorphous really didn't do much at all with that Nano Stim, but nonetheless, the amount of pressure or threat he created, oh, never mind. He's going to do a lot in the end. Anyways, an Earth Shatter, where they weren't expecting it. Clatton with the Deadeye over on the plat. Slash the catwalk, and that's going to be a very easy cleanup of this fight, and I think they might just be able to take this point. Shozi's going to switch to the D.Va. They're in an all-out, all-stall mode, but the D.Va needs to get to the payload. They're going to go with the Graviton Surge to hold it out, and somebody is stalling up the payload, D.Va, and now it's also going to be that Lucio, but they need to get a lot more done than just that. They need to do more than stall. They actually have to try to win a fight at some point, and can they do that? That's the question. D.Va's already out of her mech. Flashbang's going to hit on 2. Maybe they've done it. Half as cool gets a double kill, but Mesomorphous is just swinging his hammer and cleaning up the defense. Hero after hero. Earthshatter's going to ring through. Hits on 4, and he's going to charge through. Misses on any targets, but the kill feed, it's showing the story. Mete barely ends up dying there, but still, they have the numbers on the fight to continue to fight it out. They can still continue to dominate this. Hook is going to go out looking for this Tracer. They need to clean her up. This is just so much hecticness going on. But I think the defense might have just finally stabilized Scribe. It took too long for the offense to convert, and now there's another opportunity.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great defensive hold, but they burned so much to keep that alive. Luckily, Hoppy is cool. Hop is cool. Has his ultimate right now, which is, I guess, their lone ultimate they can really use. But man, Kratos Digger needs to be able to hit someone who has purpose. Mesomorphous cannot fall off the high ground again, contesting it, especially with the nano boost. So there are a lot of options they can pick, but they all need to kind of group it together. Mete is going to have ultimate very soon as well, just spamming out those, those right clicks to try to get some more ultimate charge and try to build up that great Graviton Surge. And honestly, all it takes is one Graviton Surge for them to win this game. The defense doesn't really have any options, and it takes around like 10 seconds for them to do anything.
Nano boosted Deadeye could do a lot. He gets a double kill. Aki and Diddy are the ones that go down. And it's worth noting that Aki was close to that Earth Shatter. And that was probably one of the critical things that could have got them back in this game. The Death Blossom from Half of School is not doing anything. And that's the exact opposite of what they need. This Mercy, they're waiting to kill targets a little bit. They're taking their time. And now Mercy's in an awkward situation. She's going to have to dash across the vision of a McCree to stop that Resurrection from going out. But she ended up going down. Earth Shatter did come out from Ake to try to stall it out. Half of School is switching over to that Tracer to buy them that small opportunity to win this game. Once again, they already stall, or at least to stall it out. They did do it once. Can they do it again? Lolly's going to be able to get onto the Mei. Goes for the Ice Block, is on the point. Mesomorphous with the Earth Shatter stuns up everyone. And once Mei goes down, this payload will be converted. Reinhardt's going to try 0.5 meters. And that is going to be it. Mixx will take it with 1 minute and 19 seconds. Holding on.
Man, this was a great Dorado map. Holy smokes. Honestly, that last push was just so clean from the offense. Be able to accurately use their ultimates and know exactly what they needed to do there. And honestly, there were a lot of great Roadhog picks. Initial part that I was kind of worried about was their inability to really take high ground, just because they didn't really have, I think, the correct heroes to really do that, and I think that could be something that could have been abused a little more. But when you win fights like that, I guess it doesn't really matter what exactly you play and what the opponents are playing. But a lot of really good clean stuff on that first point. Definitely excited to see what they bring on defense.
See here, a few seconds, it will be decided up. But I wouldn't be surprised to see something just straight up stock standard, to be frank. It's a situation where they and unfortunately, guys, you cannot use Mobot right now. I don't know why Mobot's down. It's just unfortunate. It's just a situation. You can't get to the brackets. If you guys want the bracket, I'm going to go ahead and link it whenever you guys get it. And also, of course, my co-caster can as well. I'll go ahead and link that for you guys now. But I don't think it's hostility, Donde. I think they're just teammates. There are a lot of teammates that join into this, so it's hard to tell. Sometimes it is just teammate banter. I do try to be careful, but yeah, do keep attitude in check, guys, as this is a stream where we want people to be able to watch and enjoy Overwatch and actually engage in the games and not have to deal with hostility in the chats. But that being said, there's a lot of friendly banter that happens in the Overwatch competitive scene.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think everyone's super friendly, especially with the World Cup coming around. I think a lot of teams might finally get rid of some bad beef between everyone. I think Cypher and Shadowburn, I think at some point had some bad drama or whatever. But I think that's a good opportunity. We'll talk about that later. Right now, if you look at kind of the side of the offense, Mythra's still on that Mercy. I don't really agree with the Mercy on the offense because you sacrifice the Zenyatta damage in addition to it, meaning that you're kind of focused. And they don't really have a super big dive composition, meaning it forces the Tracer to be the only single flank. And especially on that team right now, man, with that Roadhog spamming hooks from that top of that building, I think it's super risky to go with the composition they went with.
Yeah, well, they're just going to go straight in from the choke point. They're just going to not even go for any stare execute here, as Clatten's going to get the first kill as he takes out that Tracer. And that's that threat to his supports in the backline. And it could get very awkward here as he's able to just start putting some huge shots into Dinia, and the other supports not able to get the kill on him, but he will be helped out by Mesomorphous as backing up is the Lucio to the cart, trying to get away alive. But that first push going to be cleaned up. Maybe one kill win in their favor. I think they got one, but that's about it. 3 total for the defense as the offense has to take a step back and figure out a new look and what they're going to end up doing here.
Yeah, I mean, the inherent problem with running Mercy on offense is that you don't have a target power boost. You're kind of useless because all you're doing is really healing, which Zenyatta almost does infinitely better. But I think it's a good push right now. They need to really work on Lolly being able to get a great Deadeye, but they're not looking for the big flank right now. I'm surprised they could have been in a really bad position.
They really do. They don't really have any ultimate to fight this Transcendence. I guess they'd have the Deadeye, but Lolly's going to go ahead and just use that right now, so the Transcendence will be available after this. And Ake, Lolly, they're getting kills, never mind. I don't know anything. They're just going to light up and get all of the kills that they need. Taking out, actually, when we look at the kill feed, it was the Klatten, it was Mete. Now Ubi, the players that they ended up taking out were the critical support, the critical damage dealers, and also the setup ultimates. It's just not a good situation for the defense, and that will be the cap of the first point. So maybe a little bit of life being shown here from the side of GateKeepers, as they definitely need to get something going, as if they lose this map, they're out of the series in the finals. Well, we'll be seeing a little bit of Mixx if GateKeepers can't figure it out.
Yeah, honestly, that was a great Earth Shatter to basically put Clayton out of the fight. And I honestly kind of won him the game when PS is down and you can't put any support damage, I guess, to allow your tanks and your other supports to stay alive. That's a huge win for them. So right now the defense is doing a slightly different push where they're kind of attacking from two different angles, forcing the defense to go. But great Graviton Surge keeps them all together.
On this res, we're waiting for the res. Like you said, that huge Graviton Surge set up the fight. Mythar waiting for it. Gonna get the resurrection. Now the question is, can they get the better follow-up? We're gonna stay on Mythar for a second as he duels up against this Zarya, but that's not gonna go very well for him for very long. Switch over to Klatten as he ends up dying. But his team doing pretty well in these fights, as Cabal is gonna end up helping take out Ake with his help of his teammate Mesomorphous.
Honestly, I don't agree with the Zarya chasing after the Mercy there. I think the Zarya really needs to stay with her team and kind of provide that for thing. Because sure, they won the initial fight and they killed the Mercy, but it wasn't worth it. I mean, they needed to finish up the fight on the forward front, but instead the offense still maintains momentum. They didn't really lose that much off of that because everyone, by the time they were able to start moving the card again, everyone had res and everyone had rejoined. So it's back onto the defense. They have a huge Earth Shatter right now, and hopefully that can win the game. And it goes great, catching some people, but great Zarya show that keeps them alive for a few more seconds.
And they seem to be doing a pretty good job with this fight so far, getting the better engage. But no, never mind. That just doesn't go well in that side room. Lolly needed to get killed during that Deadeye, but with that kill, he's going to continue to push forward and ends up going down. Never mind, it was the Deadeye of Klatten he canceled. Thought it was his Deadeye. Klatten still alive somehow. Both Deadeyes were used, yet both of them are still alive. Mythar still has the resurrection available as well, so the offense can reset this, but defense, what can they do? GateKeepers, Ubi does have this, Mixx does have a very good spot until he got Earth Shattered. Very strong Earth Shatter coming out from Ake, actually. Ended up knocking down multiple. Looks like he's going to help take out Mesomorphous as well, who's on low HP. Graviton Surge is going to come out from the defense as they want to try to fight this, but there's also the drop the beat from GateKeepers to keep them alive. And I think that this should end up getting converted. It's getting close though. Mete gets a critical pick there at the end if they can continue to get these picks. And I meant to switch to Mete, not the person who fell off the map. Half is Cool gonna get another kill, and this is just going back and forth. It is so hard to call right now, Scribe, as both teams are basically just clashing. A Deadeye's gonna come out, but Half is Cool lights up. You're not Half is Cool, man. You are very cool. So you get yourself a triple kill, putting your team in a great position, and they can go ahead and push forward. And no, there was no, there has been no maps played on, or there has been no matches yet played today on this stream. Says he on the new map Eichenwald. Unfortunately, me and Scribe would love it, but unfortunately we haven't seen it today.
Yeah, but mainly the defense has an opportunity right now to take advantage of their ultimates again. Mesomorphous does have ultimate. Ube is about to pick up his ultimate, which we all know is pretty game-changing. But there is 3 minutes on the clock. They have to be very careful with using this because if they lose one fight, especially with the enemy Mercy having ultimate, that could be the end of the map.
And it could also be the end of their push if this Dragon Blade does a lot, but I don't think that he's going to need it. Half is Cool does get some kills, but they haven't done anything. There we go. He's just going to go ahead and channel it out. Rewind comes out. Charge. Oh, Ake. What a huge play as they continue to push forward. And again, they're down 0-1. If they lose this map, it is 0-2. They are done with the series. They need to convert this payload. They need to get themselves in a good position. And right now, they seem to be putting themselves in the precipice of doing it. Graviton Surge available. They're going to go ahead and use it. But the Deadeye. Oh, no, the Earth Shatter. He gets knocked back. It's canceled. Maybe it was just the charge. Mesomorphous still has the Earth Shatter in his back pocket. And this might be Mixx buying themselves another opportunity to just win the map outright right now, right here. As 2 minutes remain here on this offense. And GateKeepers, so close, yet honestly so far at the same time. They do have ultimates to work with, but it's coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of a little stressful on the side of the defense because right now Mesomorphous needs to hit like at least a 3-man Earth Shatter, catching at least 1 DPS for this to really do anything much. Cabal has ultimate, which is going to make that job so much easier if he can just stay alive through all this. But right now, it's all about baiting out the Deadeye, making sure no one gets conversion, and not getting destroyed by the pulse spawn.
If they can do that, that would be game-breaking. Earth Shatter comes out from the defense. I think it hit on pretty much everyone. It was on Dinia's screen, but hit on him and the Reinhardt. Mesomorphous takes out Aki, and now Lolly's going to fall as well. And this fight is continuing to fall apart. Ubi has switched over to the Tracer after that Genji, and Tracer can definitely build up her ult a lot faster. Resurrection comes out from the offense as they hope to reset this fight. They were playing around it, but it's just not enough. Defense, much better position, much better target selection, much better target focusing. And in the end, they will go ahead and hold off that push. And this is starting to look like a bit of desperation and a bit of, well, needing to pull a hat out of the bag here, as GateKeepers has less time on the map. Even if they convert, the time bank has officially been won in the sense of better position going into the next push for Mixx.
Yeah, honestly, it's all about Mesomorphous. I keep on feeling that whenever he has Earth Shatter, you need to use this. But he needs it especially now. He cannot be the one that Aki takes down first, because if he goes down first, that bodes very negatively for the defense. He needs to catch Aki out of position, make sure Aki cannot respond with another Earth Shatter.
Deadeye's going to go off. Matt Clanton gets himself a kill on Ninia. Mete is going to take on Mither. And Lolly, he's the only one who's going to get a response. This Deadeye needs to be huge, but he didn't hold it fast enough. A little bit itchy on the trigger finger there. Still have the 2 skulls, but the Tracer dash. Lolly going to pick off Clanton's head up from a distance. But you know what? Doesn't really matter too much. This is just a bad situation right now. It's 0-2, guys. Or sorry, it's 0-1 in favor of Mixx. And Mixx is on the precipice of holding the reactor section of Dorado. And again, if they hold this, they go into the finals. It all comes down to GateKeepers here and now.
Yeah, Aki goes in a little too far. They can capitalize this and punish him for his behavior. Oh man, punish him for his aggression. And right now, there's just not enough time. That Earth Shatter stops people from moving forward, and even Lolly tries a very cheeky jump over the side wall, but just can't do it. Honestly, Mesomorphous keeping his ult for, I think, realistically, the last 2 minutes of that push, like, just never needed to use it, was, I think, huge. Or he used it and immediately got it back. But either or, great conservation, great patience to using and discipline. And the defense, all they needed was set up. They needed to force the offensive objectives, and they were able to out-sustain the fact that the ults just weren't there all the time, and I think that's enough. And Mithra, I mean, this is another not so impactful Mercy game, and that might be the character, but I mean, this is on the other side. But
well, yeah, I definitely, I mean, I agree and disagree with you in the sense I agree 100% that this was not a good Mercy game in the sense of that not only the composition but also the way that it ended up getting played and the impact that it ended up having. But I do want to emphasize that, at least from my experience watching you know, some of the higher NA teams lately, some of the tier 1 scrims that have been going on, there's been a lot of very high impact Mercy. And so I guess maybe the way that I look at it is I feel like maybe they aren't playing Mercy to the best ability that they could, to be fair, which goes back to, I mean, we've said it twice throughout this cast, if you're going to run Mercy, why aren't you running Pharah? Like, it's just, you know, an almost a frustrating question for me in some respects, because you said it so well. Mercy, without a Pharah, what's her vertical dodge element? She's a horizontally, you know, dodging hero at that point, but does dash really make that, like, it's just, it gets awkward. Like, you have to, like, really work to justify Mercy in a world without Pharah.
yeah, and I agree. And obviously, you know, it's about optimization, I think, at this point. I think they need to fit her into the meta in a way which, you know, which benefits her and the fact that she has that res. And I mean, we always talk about her, like, I always like reflecting, like, 2 months ago when everyone was like, Mercy's broken, like, her ultimate charges so quickly. And now she's kind of a little bit back in the meta, but it almost feels like everyone's forgotten how to play her a little bit. But Pharah Mercy, I still think is so strong nowadays. It's just such a great composition. You offer so much mobility, and you know, having Pharah rockets almost one-shot 200 health targets, huge. I think that's a huge change in the meta, and having the air dominance means characters like Mei don't really function as well, and you kind of target some of those niche picks, right? You specifically, you force the Hanzo, you force basically the enemy team to change the way they play. You force the defense on any aspect to change the way they are specifically looking, their target selection, and even where on the map they're looking, right? They're going to be concentrating up in the air, which, you know, makes it hard for people to kind of like look right in front of them and see the tank that's charging right at them. So there's a lot of different smaller elements, I think, that, you know, Pharah brings into meta, and I agree with you completely. I do think that, you know, Mercy inherently is a high impact character, because you do have the ability to res, you do have inherently really good healing, really good mobility. If you can stay alive during the majority of the fight, you do also offer a lot of damage amplification, and a lot of that moving forward is very positive. I just think that people and teams need to kind of relearn it and try to figure out what her role is in the new meta.
I can definitely agree with that.